Hi everybody, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Ooh! And welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films and comment on them. Hope everybody had a okay Christmas weekend. I know hanging with family can be hard, hanging with friends can be hard. And then there's a pandemic, so there's all that. I hope that you were able to spend some quality time with people that you love and care about. And those might not be your family members. My wife and I, Katrina and I, had a great restful time. We played bingo. That was kind of fun. Anyways, we're back. Showing you some old 16. That last film was from the Orgone Archive, which ultimately was from the Mogul Brothers collection, which was a film library based in New York City where you could rent films. And that's a science film or an educational film. There were educational films early on in film in the 1900s. There were educational films, but they weren't made by, they were showing kind of educational concepts, and the science was always a little dodgy. It's kind of anecdotal about what animals do and what they are, and nature photography and things like that. So that's been around for a long time. All right, this next film has something to do with Bermuda, but really has a lot to do with hearing aids. So enjoy.
Bermuda, romantic vacation paradise in the Atlantic. This is the story of two people and a wonderland. The wonders they will see and hear in one of the sunniest, fun-filled places on the globe. A charming resort attracting thousands of tourists all year round. Let's go along on their holiday as our clipper sets down. The best way to explore Bermuda leisurely is by horse and buggy. All the joys of a holiday are open to John and Mary. Although afflicted with hearing loss, they will be able to hear as well as see the beauties of this tropical island. The attractively styled eyeglasses they are wearing also are hearing aids, called Hear and See, Beltone's new hearing glasses. As you can see, the glasses are trim, giving no clue that they are both glasses and hearing aids. Bermuda is a land of sensations. The fragrant fields of Easter lilies are one of the few businesses. They're exported all over the world. For the pleasures of the palate, this is dining at its best. Gorgeous outdoor terraces overlook the blue ocean, and the food is a constant delight. The temperature makes eating in the sun possible just about all year. Here's a scenic delight you won't want to miss. From high on the rocks, you look down at a grotto where semi-tropical fish play for your entertainment. What backgrounds for pictures that will recall pleasant memories of your vacation? Gardens are everywhere in full bloom. In Bermuda, there are the sounds of the forests, the rhythm of the surf, the chant of the vendors, all heard with high fidelity through binaural or two-ear hearing, the way nature intended. Notice how well styled the hearing glasses are. Through binaural hearing, one can determine the source and direction of sound, hear more clearly and selectively, and receive sound in fullest dimensions. No treasured sound is lost. Still another tourist attraction, the zoo. There's so much to do in this small island. The weeks and days fly by. The colorful parrot, a bird of the tropics, surveys his domain, reminding our visitor of the verdant forest lands that once covered this entire paradise. When he feels like it, the parrot can turn a phrase in English as well as Spanish and French, a heritage of the many cultures that have contributed to the island. Sunset and the enchantment of the rhythmic surf remind John and Mary that their Bermuda holiday is almost ended. The sound of the waves murmuring on that beach will always be with them when they recall their holiday fully enjoyed with ease and confidence, largely through Beltone's attractive Hear and See glasses.
So this is basically an ad for the special type of hearing aid that are incorporated into glasses, the See and Hear series by Beltone. A lot of stuff like that. You know, they're like, how can we highlight, you know, so advertising is really, how do you sell a lifestyle? Unless in the product just happens to help you with that lifestyle. So how do you show this, you know, people who have to buy hearing aids, they don't want to have to buy hearing aids, but they have to. And so why not sell them on the idea that if you get these hearing aids, that makes it more likely for you to go to a beautiful tropical paradise. I mean, that's advertising in a nutshell for you. So that came from the Paul and Elizabeth Nelson archive. They're based in Houston, Texas. And they used to do a screening called Cinema Bomar there. And I digitized stuff for them. All right, I got behind me a telecine, and this is what we use to transfer film to video, and then we pipe it. It's fresh, hot data into the pipes that then get sprayed all over the world. So this is, what is this? Harbor Pilot. Enjoy.
Sailors, long ago, faced many dangers at sea. Often, the most dangerous times came when ships neared land. Out in the ocean, water is deep. But near land, water is shallow. Ships might hit bottom, or they might scrape against rocks hidden just under the surface of the water. Some ships even sank. Sometime long ago, a fisherman who knew just where all the dangerous shallow places were helped guide ships safely into port. He was the first harbor pilot. Modern harbors are busy and interesting places. Many ships from all over the world arrive and leave every day. Every time a ship comes in, every time one leaves, a harbor pilot is needed to guide it. That's my job. I am a harbor pilot too. Here's the pilot station. It's just inside the entrance to the harbor. The other harbor pilots and I wait here for ships to come in. We have lists telling us exactly when each ship is due and where it should be docked. The seafarer is due to arrive soon. I wonder if we can see her yet. Harbor pilots do very special work. We learn our jobs through years of experience. We know every possible danger in the harbor. Sometimes ships come in at night. At other times, they come in while there is a storm or when there is fog. During these times, my job is doubly hard. If I make even the smallest mistake, valuable ships could be damaged. Men might even be injured or killed. I go out in the pilot boat and meet approaching ships before they enter the harbor.
Oops. That just kind of ended. I'm eating a salad. That's the whole film. Like I said, it's a excerpt. So there you go. Oops. So instead of learning about harbor pilots, let's learn about astronauts. Here's Major Don Isley. There we go. Enjoy.
The first mission of Apollo, the first of a series that leads to exploration of the moon. Three men to ring out this new spacecraft for the first time. In the left seat, Spacecraft Commander Walter Schirra. In the right seat, Walter Cunningham. And in the middle, a young man from Columbus, Ohio, Major Don Isley. The quiet, reserved man in the center couch seems natural here, contrasted with the outgoing exuberance of his teammates. A relaxed pilot, they call him. Confident. Confident in his own ability and in the ability of his teammates. But the road to becoming an astronaut is neither short nor easy. For Don Isley, it began with his graduation from Annapolis in 1952, when he chose a flying career in the Air Force. He became a project officer and test pilot for experimental jets, and it was as a test pilot he was selected for the astronaut program 12 years later in 1964. He came on board with the third contingent of astronauts, the same group as his fellow crew member, Walt Cunningham. Long used to the travels of a military career, he moved his wife and family to the quiet community of El Lago, Texas. It's a perfect place for him to do the fishing and camping he enjoys. And it's just a few minutes from his office at the Manned Spacecraft Center. But even an experienced test pilot like Don Isley, who also holds a master's degree in astronautics, had a lot to learn. He and the other astronauts in his group began their intensive general training program. In the classroom, in simulators, on trips to other centers. And there was training in the field. For here he learned not only to work in the new realm of space, but gathered the basic knowledge necessary to explore new worlds. On special training flights, he learned what it was like to live beyond the pull of gravity. It was on just such a flight as this that Don Isley dislocated his shoulder. However, surgery was successful and he was back on flight status. At the end of his general training period, Isley's specialty as an astronaut was the Apollo flight control system. He worked with engineers in this area for 7 months. His next assignment was as astronaut liaison pilot for the lunar module, the vehicle in which 2 astronauts will land on the moon. He participated in all key tests and reviews, representing the astronauts in all aspects of design and modification. Then came the assignment for which, above all else, he had been trained. Don Isley, with Wally Schirra and Walt Cunningham, was assigned to the prime crew for the Apollo Saturn 205. Thrust into the spotlight of national interest, he ran into a problem: the inability of many of the press to pronounce his name. Eisel, Eisel, they called him, and he took a good ribbing from his crewmates about it. But even as they trained for their mission, a change in the program canceled their flight and placed them as a backup crew for the first manned Apollo flight. Following the fire that claimed the lives of the prime crew, Schirra, Isley, and Cunningham were once more ready to go, the first men to fly Apollo. As always, Don Isley meets the situation as a calm, reliable professional, for this is his way. An engineer, a pilot, a quiet man. Major Don Isley, United States astronaut.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one that had problems pronouncing his name, Isley. All right, let's. God, so many things to watch. Let's learn about the men who grow cotton. Enjoy.
That's Memphis, right in the middle of the Cotton Carnival. Everybody celebrates, everybody goes to town, everybody parades. In a good year for cotton, spirits are high all across the cotton belt. Hail King Cotton! Out on the land, the seed is going into the ground. Whether a man is planting 1 acre or 100 acres, he's hoping for a crop. It's the seed. These are low cotton. They've known it for years. Major crops. Rhythm. Plow the fields, plant the cotton, chop it out. They know cotton is woven like a thread through the history of America herself. It has known magnificent old plantation days. An era of wealth and stability built on the journey of cotton into world markets. Out of the past comes the memory of steamboat days, river traffic, the lusty days of old Mark Twain. Cotton helped to build the trade and credit of a young nation. Its importance has never waned. And yet the farmer has seen the market come to a standstill, has seen his cotton pile up in the warehouse, has heard the ghost of nickel cotton rattling its chain. He's seen the results of constant one-crop farming, seen the land worn down the hills. He has fought back the boll weevil and prayed for good weather to bring his cotton through, because cotton was all he had. Today, these men are working toward a more permanent prosperity for the South. They're seeking answers to problems which have long beset the cotton farmer. They know that only time and world cooperation will solve some problems. America's cotton economy once was built on export. For years, 50 to 75% of the crop went to foreign countries. Since 1920, foreign production has been steadily increasing. Foreign cotton is competing with American cotton in world markets on price and quality. Cotton farmers have had to depend more and more on domestic markets. Cotton has also met a challenge in synthetics, rayon, nylon, and paper, both at home and abroad. No one farmer can solve all these complex problems. He can keep informed, meet with his neighbors, and express his opinions through his government. But there are things he can do on his own farm to help himself. John Hester has found that out.
I had been working the place depending almost entirely on cotton. If times were good, I made enough to get by on. But if times were bad, we had a right hard time. Then I got to thinking. I said to myself, you've got a good piece of land here. The living you need out of it. Now what are you doing that's wrong? I started out on the land, aimed to find out why it wasn't producing the way I thought it ought to. I studied my soil, learned as much as I could about conservation. I limed it down, turned on the cover crops. I decided it was just plain taking chances, raising nothing but cotton. That's how I came to change over. I'm growing other crops on my land nowadays, crops that are good for the soil. Gradually brought my land back to good, rich fertility. Land that tired out on cotton became pasture for my dairy herd. Looks to me like a man with a small farm is better off when he grows cotton on good cotton ground, uses the rest of his place for other crops. I'm still growing cotton. I'm making money at it, but I'm not trying to make him carry the whole farm load. We've got all we need right here, milk and butter, plenty of good bread. We're market income. We've got work all year round. That means a steadier income. We've got our own food, and we're putting away a little extra on the future. Seems like a man can bleed more in the future when he's working for it. I couldn't ask the good Lord for more.
Since the 1920s, farmers have cut by more than one-half the number of acres planted to cotton. But better land practices and farming methods and improved seed have greatly increased the yield of each acre. The story of balanced farming can be repeated by thousands of farmers in the South. Land unsuited to cotton is being freed from the constant drain of one-crop farming, growing more food crops, crops the people need, furnishing new sources of income. Cotton on many farms is no longer the only crop. It is one of many.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't get the idea we're going out of cotton. We're still growing plenty of it, but we're growing better cotton.
That's Herb Wishcamper, and he knows what he's talking about. He was in on the beginning of a very important step the farmers in his community took several years back.
Several years back, all of us farmers in this neighborhood heard about something called the one variety community, where everybody grows the same kind of cotton. We all got together with our county agent to find out about it. Everybody had his say, found out the things he wanted to know. We had plenty of questions, plenty of talking to do. This was an important step, something that was going to change a lot of things around in our lives. I reckon changing your thinking is about like breaking in a new pair of shoes. The old pair always seems more comfortable. Well, it's been about 10 years since that first meeting, and we've found out that a one-variety community works, from the seed right on up to the bale. We start out by buying our seed together, every farmer buying the same variety, improved disease-resistant seed, guaranteed pure strain. Buying it together, we get a better price on it. We're working together, buying equipment and supplies together, getting our credit together, getting things we could never afford alone. We get our insecticides that way, get enough for the whole community at one time, saves us money, put a lot of stress on fighting the bugs. Got tired of hearing that they were getting one bale for every 7 the farmer gets. We're out to hold on to that extra bale. Yes, we're growing better cotton and selling better cotton. We're using one variety gins. That means better ginning. When a ginner handles just one variety of cotton, he turns out better lint. And he keeps the variety pure. I said there were advantages from the seed to the bale. What I really mean is a one variety community means advantages from the seed to the bale. We're getting a better price. A buyer will pay a premium price for all the cotton in our community, and we don't object one bit. He's willing to pay extra to get it. It's all the same high quality and the same uniform staple length. Another thing, we take advantage of government grading these days. Getting your cotton graded means you know exactly how much it's worth, and that's not a bad thing to know. Looks like we've all become better neighbors by working together.
One of the highest costs in raising cotton has always been labor. Picking and chopping times have employed thousands of workers, thousands of hours of labor. Today, many farmers in the South are giving a lot of thought to mechanized farming. It usually takes a man with a mule, planting, chopping, and picking, 170 or more hours for each bale of cotton. When he uses a 4-row tractor to plant and cultivate, but still chops and picks by hand, he gets one bale for 143 hours. When he adds a cotton picker, the hours drop to 52. Add a flame cultivator, and the hours dip to 28. 28 compared to 170 hours per bale. Now, mechanization means different things to different men. A farmer begins to mechanize when instead of one mule, he uses a team. A 2-row tractor cuts down on the hours spent in the field. He saves himself more hours of labor when he gets an outfit that places fertilizer and plants the seed or cultivates 4 rows, all in one operation. Airplanes, already in use in many sections of the South, are among the outstanding methods for saving time and labor. Farmers hire the planes to defoliate their cotton or to lay down whole clouds of insecticide. Cross-cultivation, done by driving across the rows, eliminates the slow, almost endless work of hand chopping and reduces later waste, as does the flame chopper, shown here in slow motion. This machine runs along the rows. The metal cans drop down over the young plants you want to keep, and the flame burns out the plants that have to go. Cultivating time, the flame cultivator is hitched to the tractor. The heat is turned on. This machine moves along the rows at a certain speed. The cotton is up high enough to withstand the heat, but the weeds shrivel up and die. Weeds burned out, cotton unharmed. These are the giants of the future, the mechanical cotton pickers. Mounted on a tractor driven backwards, the picker rolls along the rows of defoliated cotton, picking around 300 pounds in 1 hour. This may become the pattern of future cotton production in America, not only on large plantations, but on small farms as well, through joint ownership of the machines or through custom service. As always, the coming of machines brings a change in many people's lives. What is to become of the people who are displaced by the machines? South, driving ahead into a new era, is seeking an answer to that question. Vigorous and exciting changes are already being made throughout the region. We are forging a day of power, turning wheels, production. A day of new southern industries, using abundant natural resources, turning out products the people need. Here is both an answer and a challenge to break new ground, build new factories, new industries, to employ people no longer needed on the land. The South is working toward a balanced relationship between agriculture and industry. Machines take people off the overcrowded land and make jobs for them in southern industries. Living standards will rise, affording larger markets for cotton products. Cotton still supplies 75% of all our fiber needs, more than rayon, nylon, wool, silk, and jute, all put together. Cotton is still the backbone of southern industry and agriculture. Still touches each of our lives, whether as a dress or a pair of blue jeans, a sail on a boat, or a windsock at an airport, as fireproof insulation for our homes or cord for tires that take us traveling. Cottonseed is a complete industry in itself. Its industrial uses are increasing. It gives us high protein feed for livestock, mayonnaise and oil. Science promises to add, both for cotton and cottonseed, new uses for the future. Behind that future lies proof of an ancient wisdom. The true wealth of any nation lies in its soil. These men are the guardians of that soil. They know that cotton has a place in the future, but they also know they face heavy competition from synthetics and low-priced foreign cotton. By taking care of their land, growing better cotton, lowering labor costs, keeping informed, working out their problems together, they can lay the foundation for a long-range prosperity for the men who grow cotton.
That was a weird sound. So I was trying to get at what was the gist of this. Men who grow cotton. There's other films that I have that talk about cotton production. One is King Cotton. They all have agendas, basically, and it's a little bit about how cotton processing works. But this one, it was basically more than once. It was talking about nickel cotton, which is, I guess, when there was too much cotton, there was a surplus, and so all the farmers who put all this money and spent all this money to produce the cotton, they were screwed. And also they talk about foreign cotton, they talk about synthetics, so I'm sure that there were some other things like nylon and other polyesters, things like that were coming out. And, is this a cry for legislation to keep foreign cotton out or to tariff foreign cotton? Is this something to get brand loyalty? I mean, we certainly have seen the cotton. I guess in the 80s there were some PSAs where they were talking about cotton, how important it is. So it's kind of interesting to look at this film and kind of look through it a little bit to see, like, okay, who is this made for, and what's the point? Sure, we all love to learn about things, but is there a deeper agenda here? So that's why I love films like that. All right, need some help? Help wanted? Secretary.
Good. Please, Mr. Everhart, I cannot stand to see a grown man crying. Why should hiring a new secretary be such a trauma for?
Doctor, you don't understand. Real secretaries are harder to find than you can imagine. And I had never really stopped to think what qualities she should have before I began hiring a new one. The girl who quit was in that position before I took the job. And I had never really had a secretary of my own before then when I was in the field all the time. So naturally, I thought all secretaries were just like she was, but they aren't, Doctor. They aren't.
Yes, I see. You are suffering from acute nervousness brought on by a not uncommon trauma. We refer to it as executive syndrome.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, how do we attack it? You said that you knew those qualities that a good secretary should have. But what in your mind are those qualities?
Well, let's see. First of all, she should be loyal to me and to the company. And of course, she should be intelligent. And naturally, she should have all the normal secretarial skills. That goes without saying, really. And she should have initiative. This is very important. And ingenuity. The two of them work hand in hand. Oh, and a willingness to work. She should have a good business sense. She should have tact and a certain amount of charm, taste in her appearance anyway. And she should have the ability to organize, psychological insight, ability to write, and...
I see. And just where do you expect to find this goddess? Hmm?
Huh? Oh, I see what you mean. Maybe I'm expecting a little too much, huh?
No, you should look for these qualities when looking for a new secretary, but nobody is perfect, you know.
You see, when I was looking, I tried to consider...
Look, why don't you tell me the whole story? Then we can find out where things went wrong, okay? Let's start at the beginning.
Well, when Miss Merritt left, I decided, just like most men, that I'd hire someone that was a real looker.
Mm-hmm.
Make all the other managers jealous, you know. So I did. Oh, the girl I got was beautiful to look at. But that's all. Oh, Miss Taylor, would you come in, please?
Righty, just a sec. Huh?
I want to dictate an answer to this letter from Harry Saltzman.
Okay, just a sec.
What?
I gotta go get my book.
Oh, no.
Listen, I'll only be a second. Now, don't you forget what you were gonna say. Yeah, hello? Oh, hi, Candy. Oh, nothing much. I've got a date with Henry tonight. Yeah. Well, I figure it beats staying home with the TV. But just. Huh? Oh, I don't know. He mentioned something about going to a movie. But I'd rather go dancing or something. I've got this terrific new dress cut down to
Miss Taylor.
What?
My dictation, please.
Huh?
The letter I was about to dictate.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I'll be there in a sec. Listen, I gotta go. He wants to dictate a letter, and you know how long that takes me. Yeah, I'll call you back when he goes out. Okay, shoot.
To Harry Saltzman, ABC Company, get the address from the files. Dear Harry, about that sales call you mentioned last week, I'm sorry we didn't follow up on your good advice, but...
Hey, you trying to catch a train?
What?
Slower, slower. We got all day.
Where was I?
Let me see. Henry Saltzman.
Harry.
Oh, Harry. ABC Company. Get the address from the file. Dear Henry. Harry, right? About that.
About that sales call you mentioned last week. Better.
Last week. Yeah, a little. Hey, listen, you know what? If you wrote down all your letters on paper, then I could copy them over. We could save a lot of time. Because, frankly, I'm a little rough on my shorthand.
So I had to let her go. I was doing all the work myself. She was nothing but a typist.
Oh, but you must not blame yourself too much. It is quite natural for someone to make this mistake when hiring a secretary for the first time. We refer to it as the libido satisfaction syndrome.
Oh, really?
Yes, so you must not be too harsh with yourself. It is, in fact, boringly common among the executives I meet. But what did you do next? That is the important thing. How did you respond to crisis?
I decided, hire a girl that was inexperienced and train her to be the kind of secretary I really wanted.
Aha! The get 'em while they're fresh reaction, eh? So then what happened?
Well, I hired this nice young kid with practically no experience. She came in and she was willingness itself. She'd do anything I asked her to do. And nothing more.
I'm awfully sorry. Mr. Everhart has stepped out right now. I'm not exactly sure when he'll be back. Yes, that's a good idea. Why don't you do that? Call back. All righty. Bye now.
Did I have any calls?
Oh, yes, sir, several.
Who were they from?
Gee, Mr. Everhart, I don't know. They didn't say. I think I recognized Mr. Robinson's voice one time, though.
Didn't you take any numbers?
No, sir, I didn't. I just figured they'd call you back.
Well, I wish next time you would take the numbers.
Oh, yes, sir, I certainly will. If they call again, I'll get the number, if I recognize the voice.
Oh, no, I mean... Oh, well... do you have the meter file?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well? Bring it in.
Oh, okay. Mr. E., do you know what I might have done with that file? I can't seem to locate it.
What? Don't tell me you've lost it. That file is very important.
Well, I know it's not in the filing cabinet, and it's not on my desk, and I know where it is. I left it in by the copying machine. I'll just run and get it.
Well, hurry. Meter will be here at 2:30.
Yes, I know, and Mr. Franklin is coming at 2:15.
He is?
Yes, sir.
I don't remember making an appointment to see Franklin at 2:15.
Oh, you didn't. I did.
What? You can't do that. I don't want to see Franklin until after this appointment with Meter. Now, why did you schedule him for then?
Oh, well, he called up and asked if he could have an appointment this afternoon, and I said what time, and he said 2:15, and I thought you liked Mr. Franklin, so I said okay.
Now, didn't you check my calendar to see that I had an appointment for 2:30?
No, sir, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right, never mind. Get Franklin on the phone and tell him I'll have to see him later. Tell him to make it 3:30.
Yes, sir. Do you know his number?
No, I do not.
Oh. Well, then I'll look it up.
Do that.
Mr. Everhart's office. Oh, hi there, Mr. Freeman. Sure, he's in. Let me see if he'll talk to you. Mr. Everhart, this is Mr. Freeman. Do you want to talk to him?
Well, I think we can make delivery on time. It all depends.
Oh,
whether or
Mr.
not
Everhart, I was just typing up this letter you dictated this morning, and there's something here I can't seem to figure out. Did you say you would or would not accept shipment after the 15th?
I would not.
Oh, that's what I thought you said. But I must have just left it out. Anyway, I did want to check because I know what difficulty it would cause if I let it go out wrong that way. How neat does this have to be?
Very neat. Oh, by the way, has anybody heard from Stewart? I've been waiting for that phone call all day.
Oh, yes, he called while you were in Mr. Jackson's office. He lost the sale.
Well, why didn't you tell me that before now?
You didn't ask me.
Frustrating.
Frustrating. Oh, I was constantly being embarrassed by that girl because she didn't have enough business sense and ingenuity to figure out even the simplest thing for herself. One day, she had 3 people waiting in my outer office, all scheduled for the same time. She said she thought I was having a meeting. They were competitors.
So, you fired her, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't get the chance. She quit and married the typewriter repairman.
Ah, jilted boss response. So then, what did you do?
Well, I learned my lesson. I decided if I was going to get any work done, still have anything left in my career, I'd have to get a very experienced woman who had worked for a number of years, who knew what doing a job well really meant. An older woman you could count on that wouldn't be flighty and have her mind on anything but the work.
Aha. Oedipus complex.
So I did. I hired a woman who had been a secretary for years. In fact, she had worked for so long, there wasn't anything she couldn't do, including run my business.
Mr. Everhart is out of the office, but is due back in 7 minutes. We will return your call at that time. Goodbye. You're early.
Any calls?
Yes, I'll give them to you in a moment. There are a few other things I need to discuss with you first. I'll be right with you. Just have a seat at your desk.
Any word from Howard on that contract?
I'll get to that.
Excuse me.
First, you made a mistake in one of the letters you dictated this morning. You said that you would accept shipment after the 15th, when you meant to say that you would not. I corrected it for you and sent it out.
But I didn't sign it.
I did it for you.
I didn't get a chance to read it first, or to check it for typos.
I don't make typos.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Johnson called and wanted an appointment for 2:30, but I told him he would be tied up until 3:30, so he will call back to arrange a later time.
But I don't have anything on for 2:30.
You forget, Mr. Everhart, that I take dictation from 2:30 to 3:30.
Oh, that's right. I forget.
Yes, I can see I'll have to start putting it on your calendar until you can remember. Now, a call came in for a price quotation on the new gauges.
Oh, really? Well, good. Where's the request form?
I took care of it and sent it out in the mail. It was for the same specifications as the Acme heating job that we handled last week.
Now, Miss Grimm, I want to see all those requests. It may just be
Now,
that...
look here, Mr. Everhart. I'm just trying to run this office the way it should be run. If there is to be any efficiency at all around here, you must let me organize the work the way I think best. Now, if you don't trust my work...
Oh, no,
Very well, then. If anything comes up that I think you should be consulted about, I'll certainly ask you. I can't do everything. Now, I have scheduled a golf game with you and Mr. Jameson for tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Now, look, I don't like to play golf with Jameson. He always...
I know that, sir. But the entire reliable company account rests on the Jameson sale, and I felt that you should go and try to close the deal on the course. Now, if you don't care about the sale, I suppose I could always...
No, I'll keep the date. Where's the mail?
I've taken care of it. There was nothing that you need to bother with. I answered the letters that required it and dispatched the rest of the correspondence to the right people to handle. Excuse me, sir. Mr. Everhart's office, Miss Grimm speaking. May I help you? Well, put Mr. Brown on, and I'll put Mr. Everhart on. Put Mr. Brown on first. Now, look here. What does this call concern? I'm sorry, but I have told you before that Mr. Everhart does not have time to talk to you on those matters. If you will refer to my letter of last week, you will see that the specifications are exactly as indicated in the handbook. There is no further need for any clarification beyond that. No, Mr. Everhart is in conference now and cannot be disturbed. Yes, I'll give him the message, but all the answers you require are in my letter. Goodbye.
Now, Miss Grimm.
Yes.
Now, who was that?
That officious little snip of a secretary to Mr. Brown at Acme. I don't think she'll be bothering us again. Now, will that be all, sir? I have work to do.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, there is one more thing that requires your signature. It's from personnel. It's my rating sheet. I took the liberty of filling it out. Now, if you'll just sign here.
So with that, I let her go, right on the spot.
Let us recapitulate, shall we? This first secretary who quit, causing the ensuing difficulties, was your idea of the ideal secretary. Is that right?
That's right, Doctor.
She was attractive and charming. She was efficient. She was intelligent. She had initiative and ingenuity. She was loyal and trustworthy and had everything organized just right.
Doctor, she had everything.
I see. You know, Mr. Everhart, I think there is only one solution for your problem. See if you can get her back.
Impossible, Doctor.
Now, why do you say that? I'm sure that if you explain to her how much you needed her, she might be willing to come back. Ah, yes, Miss Driscoll. We'll send her right in. Your wife is here.
No, Doctor. Her husband absolutely refuses to let her go back to work.
Now, are you positive? Have you spoken to him?
Oh, yes. You see, I'm the one who married her.
It's a trope. The businessman and his relationship to his secretary. We see a lot of that in those management films that Calvin made for Alcoa. We see a lot of working with girls. We see it in Miss Puff, the film about xerography. We see it in quite a few other things as well. So that kind of weird interplay that sitcoms and romp comedies all kind of have. So fascinating. That film came from the again from the Nelsons, Elizabeth and Paul Nelson in Houston, and we scanned it for them for stock footage purposes, but we found out it had a copyright, so we're not gonna do that. So anyways, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back again tomorrow. It'll be fun. Honest. Come on back, watch some films. Also, if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up button or the like button, or share this with friends or family. Those are things that we like. To be liked. I mean, really, that's what it's all about. To be liked. We don't care about the films. We just want you to like us and buy us coffee. And you can buy us coffee at ko-fi.com/avgeeks or buymeacoffee.com/avgeeks. You can also hit like, subscribe. There's a notification icon that you can click on. All that stuff is great. So we will see you again tomorrow, 1 o'clock. As always, we look inside the film can to tell us for wisdom, and it tells us to please rewind and love each other. So please do that, and love yourself too. You know, it sounds hippy dippy, but you need it. If you're not friends with yourself and love yourself, then who else can? So you gotta come to terms with loving yourself. See ya. Bye.